Nobody wins when the family feels.
He pops in the eights, dripped out, pops off camera.
Pops in the eights, Katie in the gummers.
Yep,
yeah, shit going on.
And I'm locked in with TP, we finna make a hit.
Decided to tell what happened and he left stuff out. I'm not gonna do that. There is a video of this thing. A lot of people know already what happened. That live stream with Ben the Don, that was about Pooh, Shiesty.
Took everything, cleaned them up.
Are you serious?
The nigga retarded, bro. It has.
If you got hit, even if you were not driving, you need to try this.
Because if you were in a car accident,
to hit the street shit. Remember, I always get the shit first.
Yeah, I gotta talk to you at the stream, bro. I'll call you in a little bit, bro. No, bro, this shit never fucking ends. That shit damn near made me on the end stream, gang.
Gucci Mane got robbed, bro. And I've allowed a lot of people to come in the, y'all know me and Seti really ain't been see, whatever. I did not get this from him as well. Damn, Gucci. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't think Pooh Shiesty was dumb enough. But y'all, Pooh Shiesty is dumb enough.
In Cordova. At the scene in Cordova. Our crews have seen FBI and TBI agents going in and out of that house. The Shelby County Assessor's website lists this house as being owned by Lontrell Williams. That is the name of both Pooh Shiesty and his father. The rap star is in a halfway house right now after being released from federal.
What if I told you a Memphis rapper that once had the world in his hands, whose rapping ability was strong enough to feed not only himself but his entire family? But instead of that talent taking him somewhere different, he ended up sentenced to 5 years in federal prison behind a robbery and a shooting that could have easily turned into a murder. All over some shoes and some Mary Jane. Now what if I told you after coming home, instead of moving different, instead of staying down and rebuilding his career, he allegedly started teasing the victim's family. Out of every picture he could have chosen on his Instagram, his default picture is him standing in front of a green McLaren, identifying himself as a Slime King, a case we'll later go over in its entirety. And what if I told you that the very man who helped him reach the level that he at today, the man who helped change his life, is the same man he allegedly tried to slime out of his contract just to sign somewhere else, and is being reported to another man. The irony, right? Because instead of staying down and dropping constant music, he drops the First Day Out record, still on the very same label of the man he allegedly tried to slime out, and the song goes #1. But inside that song, there's a lyric that caught people's attention. Quote, your daddy a killer, but you ain't, you just like Bronny James.
Show me lane, your daddy a killer, but you ain't, you just like Bronny James. Ask the word.
That followed up after the lyrics. His daddy was his first CD, his co-defendant.
They weren't doing it for the Saints. See my dad in my first code D, jumped in the streets, he showed me lane.
Meaning his father was the first person he ever caught a charge with. And according to reports, That same father was allegedly with him during a situation involving a CEO he reportedly tried to slime out. And as history shows, that's when that situation happened. It was actually a police officer connected to that CEO's security detail that got involved. Involving a CEO he reportedly tried to slime out. And as history shows, that's when that situation happened. It was actually a police officer connected to that CEO's security. That's when that situation happened. It was actually a police officer connected to that CEO's security detail that got involved. Now fast forward to today, despite the hype, despite the #1 song, you still haven't dropped a full project. And now, as this halfway house period is reportedly coming to an end, local news report outlets within the last 24 hours have released footage showing federal agents outside a home reportedly owned by him and his father. And when I'm out. And as history shows, that's when that situation happened. It was actually a police officer connected to that CEO's security detail that got involved. Now fast forward to today, despite the hype, despite the CEO's security detail, that situation happened. It was actually a police officer connected to that CEO's security detail that got involved. Now fast forward to today, despite the hype, despite the #1 song, you still haven't dropped a full project. And now, as this halfway house period is reportedly coming to an end, local news report outlets within the last 24 hours have released footage showing federal agents outside a home reportedly owned by him and his father. And when you see something like that, people naturally start connecting the dots. 2 + 2 do equal 4. Because when the feds show up, it's usually not random. Now, originally, family, I was actually working on another completely different story out of Alabama involving 2 young brothers who were recently killed inside their vehicle. A report saying an AK-47 was found in the car. As I started researching that case, I realized their mother had died in a similar situation just 2 years prior. While digging deeper into the story, I even came across someone allegedly claiming responsibility, turning a photo from the victim's girlfriend into a flyer and filming a music video at a graveyard, disrespecting the victim less than 24 hours after his death. But while I was gathering those details, I ended up seeing a new development involving Pooh Shiesty. And once you started seeing the pieces come together, it raises a lot of questions. Because like they say in Four Brothers, you keep knocking on the devil's door, sooner or later somebody gonna answer. So before we go over the Alabama story, I want to briefly go over this Pooh Shiesty story. But before we go over this one, I want you guys to remember, I don't give you no angle. I just give you the story. So with that being said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll jump right to it. Fam, 4 years ago when I started this platform in 2022, we was trying to find a niche. And during that period, we was talking about rappers and their parents. People were intrigued on their stories, and one of those rappers was Pooh Shiesty. And after I was doing my research, of course he was buzzing during that time, had a huge presence. I came across the history of his father, Lontrell Williams Sr. Pooh Shiesty is identified as Lontrell Williams Jr. And at that time, you had platforms like Hip Hop Daily, who was bigger than mine at that time, who picked it up. He did many of my videos like that and ended up regurgitating the same information that I put out. Now, I'll leave the link in the bio, but I do want to point out something from that story. Now, to give you a brief recap, it's important to know this. The situation took place in 2004 and pertaining to DJ. And it was alleged that Pooh Shiesty dad was upset that the DJ was playing Yo Gotti's music and not his. He had a record label, Lontrell Williams, Pooh Shiesty dad that is, back then, was the Mob Boss. Now in the video, I went into detail on how the stash house was raided. Fam, forgive me on how I was breathing and talking in that video. We came a long way. Now if you check it out, it talked about how a grand jury indicted 3 suspects for the murder and of a Memphis radio personality that was found dead inside her downtown apartment. The grand jury indicted Stanley Andrews, 24, on charges of first-degree M and first-degree M, and aggravated R for the M of Rebecca Glenn. She was 24 years old. Andrew was sentenced to life in prison. Rebecca was found strangled on April 12, 2004 at 130 South Front Street by an apartment manager. Concerned co-workers at Flint Broadcasting drove the Glenn's home when she failed to show up for work. The grand jury also indicted Lontrell D. Williams, 27 at the time, and Marquita Thomas, who was 19. Apparently she was the setup girl. Each one on the count of accessory after the fact. And ever since that day, Pooh Shiesty's dad was a convicted felon. May Rebecca rest in peace and love and condolences to her family. Fast forward 15 years later, in 2019, just a year before Pooh Shiesty gets signed during the pandemic, Lontrell Williams Sr. apartment would get raided again. You see, back then, they stayed on Main Circle on the 700 block. Main Circle West. Police had a search warrant for the house on December 11, 2019. At around 6 p.m., they came through. Police conducted a protective sweep on the apartment and encountered a male identified as Lontrell Williams Jr., also known by his rap stage name as Pooh Shiesty. In the southwest bedroom, sitting on the bed, Lontrell Williams Jr. was sitting on a Glock 22 pistol. During the time he was detained, detectives continued to sweep for the residence to see if any more bodies was there and didn't locate anyone else. After the scene was made safe, detectives could smell a strong odor of marijuana throughout the entire apartment. While searching for the source of the smell, Detectives Garrison and Detective Murphy located $30 of currency under the couch in the living room. Detective Tate located a Glock with 50-round drum mag and around 24 rounds inside and a rifle stock for a Glock pistol in the southwest bedroom where Pooh Shiesty was at. Detectives Mills also located a large clear bag of Mary Jane in the southwest bedroom. Another detective located miscellaneous documents in the master bedroom. Detective Tate located a Glock with 2 rounds in the southwest bedroom dresser, as well as $605. Another detective located 3 Navy Federal Credit Union envelope with Pooh Shiesty's government name on the kitchen floor. Another detective located a key to a Chrysler 300 in the kitchen drawer. Another detective located a black phone on the kitchen counter. Detective Tate located a black hat with the words Chopper Gang logo on the southwest bedroom dresser. Detective Tate located a white/gold iPad in the master bedroom dresser. Another detective located a purple jersey with the name Pooh Shiesty, as well as a Louis Vuitton bag in the southwest bedroom closet. Detective Murphy located a key fob in the southwest bedroom to a tan Chevrolet Tahoe. The detectives were able to locate outside the apartment by pressing the key button. Detectives could smell a strong odor of Mary Jane from outside the vehicle. Due to narcotics being located inside the apartment, as well as the vehicle being within the scope of the document search warrant, Detectives Mambo had conducted a free air sniff around vehicle in which Mambo gave a positive alert to the driver's side door. Apparently, that was the gang unit dog. Pooh Shiesty was later transported to 3657 Old Getwell Road for interviews. And once he got there, he was advised his rights and declined to speak to detectives. The Mary Jane was tested positive with a TGW at 1.20 pounds. The total count of currency at the property was 40,984. 2 e-trace forms were completed for both handguns. Detectives seized an unknown number of coins that would be counted and tagged during business hours. Pooh Shiesty was charged with possession of a controlled substance, possession of a firearm, and commission of a felon, and also had his dad hemmed up as a co-defendant, because there was a house in his name, well, apartment. So now you understand what he meant by that song, His Daddy Was His First CD. Now it seemed like his daddy took the case, but just months later, April 2020, Pooh Shiesty will be signed to 1017. What seemed to be a gang build-up based on the information like Chopper Gang written on hats that was found by the police, he could now focus on music and choosing another route.
To high IQ men earning less than their friends who barely passed high school. You watch guys you grew up with.
And that's what happened. He dropped 762 God. Out the gate, he made a name, and he ain't looked back since when it came to rapping. A song that got over 80 million views, I ain't counting.
In the corner, jumping fences, hitting them gates, and now we lit. Who can't do a show up in the city, bitch, this my shit.
And for a year straight, Pooh Shiesty was going a huge run. Dropped Back in Blood, a track featuring Lil Durk that's now 8 times platinum, 2 away from becoming diamond.
You know who took this shit from you? Come get it back in blood. Bitch, come get it back in blood.
Back in Blood, going 8 times platinum, like how I feel to have that accomplishment, like it's just crazy, cause like 8 so close to You know what I'm saying? This platinum, like, that ain't being done every day. Like, it's a lot of people from where we from that, you know, that go far, but this right there is like, you know, that's crazy. That's a big deal right there, and made a lot of people proud. You know what I'm saying? Like, it still give hope. You know, I want something else that can be like 8 times platinum again. And it's crazy because how this song did. Like, we ain't expect it, but at the same time, we knew this was the one. And I'm coming from police walking past, you know, big brother, Pooh Shiesty, I'm really Shiesty. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just funny. Like, it's good. Like, that was a big point in life right there. It's a hit right there. A memory. I got a little dirt, like, from that video shoot, from the Back in Blood video shoot. It's like, that was my first time being in Chicago with him, too. So, how he move and, like, how he is around, like, his people and how they love him and, you know, how they do for him. I love that. Like, a lot of people don't know, like, this side, you know what I'm saying? Like, how it is with being, like, that deep in the trenches and the respect level is so high. It was no incidents involved, no, like, no. Altercations or none of that, and then we like 150 deep out here. We so deep out here, like, it's crazy. So to see that and the love and how they showed me love, you know what I'm saying? How he treated me and kept me on his help and, you know, watch out. And, you know, it's just like, oh yeah, I mess with him, like, for sure. It's deep. I spoke to Dirk, but unfortunately it was like under the circumstances that where we couldn't really just talk like that, cause in a minute he'll be able to talk more, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I reached out for him. I hit her up, told her she can ask me whatever she need, you know what I'm saying? Tell brother call me every time, like, I'm gonna pick up that phone for sure, whatever it is, you know?
But that run during the pandemic will surely come to a stop. Pooh Shiesty was indicted in June 3rd, 2021. Apparently that indictment came from an incident that took place on October 9th, 2020 in Miami-Dade County. Police say Pooh Shiesty was with 2 people, a man identified as Bobby Brown and Jaden DeRosa. They was the defendants. Police say on October 9th, 2020 at around 1:50 p.m., 3 males later identified as Williams, Brown, and DeRosa arrived at the Landon Hotel, located on the 9700 East Bay Harbor Drive in Bay Harbor Island. Williams was driving a green McLaren, with Brown in the passenger seat. DeRosa was driving a black Mercedes Maybach. Williams had arranged to meet the victims at the location to purchase a pair of high-end athletic sneakers on Mary Jane. Williams had rented the McLaren from the victim. That's right. Victim number 1 was hoping to negotiate an extension of his vehicle rental as part of the transaction. During the transaction, Pooh Shiesty, Brown, had brandished firearms and shot both victims. Specifically, Brown shot victim 1 in the hip and Pooh Shiesty shot victim 2 in the buttocks. The victims then drove to MD Urgent Care for medical assistance and were later later transported to a Ventura hospital for further. Drove to Brown shot Pooh Shiesty. Brown had brandished firearms and shot both victims. Specifically, Brown shot victim 1 in the hip and Pooh Shiesty shot victim 2 in the buttocks. The victims then drove to MD Urgent Care for medical assistance and were later transported to a Ventura hospital for further treatment. As part of the investigation, law enforcement reviewed video surveillance which depict Pooh Shiesty arriving at the hotel in the green McLaren, with Brown as the passenger and DeRosa driving in a black Maybach. Williams was wearing a yellow shirt and Brown was wearing a white t-shirt. DeRosa was wearing a purple hoodie. Shortly after Williams arrived at the hotel, victim 1 approached Williams and handed him a bag of Mary Jane. Victim 2 then approached and gave Williams a shopping bag. Williams opened the bag and removed a pair of athletic sneakers and began examining them. Victim 2 then walked around the McLaren and sat in the passenger seat where Brown had previously been sitting to collect payment from Pooh Shiesty. As victim 2 held one of the sneakers in hand, Pooh Shiesty pointed a Draco subcompact weapon at him and demanded that he leave the sneakers in the car. DeRosa stepped out the Maybach, approached victim 2 and attempted to take victim 2's jewelry from his persons. Moments later, as victim 2 attempted to stop DeRosa from stealing his jewelry, Pooh Shiesty shot victim 2 in the buttocks. Victim 2 then retreated towards the vehicle. Ultimately, DeRosa could not take the jewelry from victim's 2 persons, but Pooh Shiesty maintained the sneakers without paying for them. Victim 2 operates a shoe sale business that involved the shipment of products in interstate commerce. Pooh Shiesty never paid either victim for the shoes or Mary Jane. Moments after Williams shot victim 2, Brown shot victim 1 in the hip. Video surveillance shows victim 1 fall to the ground in the area between the green McLaren and the victim's vehicle. Victim 1 then observed Williams point a Draco subcompact weapon at him and state in substance, quote, "Don't you try." Shortly after, Pooh Shiesty, DeRosa, and Brown returned to their respective vehicles and drove away. Williams never stepped out the driver's seat of the McLaren. The surveillance video captured a Louis Vuitton bag falling out the driver's seat of the McLaren as Pooh Shiesty drove away after the shooting. Law enforcement recovered the bag, which contained $40,912 in United States currency. The second time Pooh Shiesty had $40K took from him by the police. Pooh Shiesty publicly available Instagram account, Pooh Shiesty, contains photographs that depict him displaying several long rifles and a plethora of $100 bills before the robbery. One of the $100 bills from the picture displayed the full serial number on the bill, which police had identified and recovered on one of the $100 bills that was found in a Louis Vuitton bag. Law enforcement later identified DeRosa publicly by his Instagram, Dream Monta, where DeRosa is depicted holding a Draco firearm like the one used Pooh Shiesty during the shooting. After recovering video surveillance, law enforcement responded to a Ventura hospital to speak to the victim and present them with still photos from the video surveillance. Victim 1 stated that he was certain that the person driving the green McLaren was rapper Pooh Shiesty. Victim 1 said he had several encounters with Pooh Shiesty, including when victim 1 rented the green McLaren. Victim 1 explained that when he was shot, the closest person to him was Pooh Shiesty road manager, Bobby Brown. Victim 1 then described Brown as wearing a white t-shirt, which was corroborated by video surveillance. Law enforcement also presented victim 1 with a photo of DeRosa, and victim 1 identified DeRosa as the driver of the Mercedes Maybach and the person wearing the purple hoodie. Law enforcement then contacted victim 2 while he was being treated at a Ventura hospital. Law enforcement also presented him with still photos in which he identified the same people.
Now, in just one station, surveillance cameras showing a new view of a violent shootout in a parking lot of a South Florida apartment building. The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7's Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Broad daylight bullets, 2 hit, over $500,000 in exotic cars. All of it on surveillance video obtained exclusively by 7 News from October in ultra-quiet Bay Harbor Islands.
I got that name because I'm fine.
And it involves a recording artist, Pooh Shiesty, except unlike this clip, what happened here was no music video. The footage shows a McLaren sports car, Mercedes Maybach, and another Mercedes pull into this East Bay Harbor Drive condo parking lot. Men from the vehicles eventually get out and meet, and then this. The man in the white shirt has a pistol. The man in the black sweatshirt has a longer gun, and at about the same time, they begin firing before retreating back to the Maybach. The fancy getaway cars speed off, and one of 2 victims then hobbles to the car.
Skyforce 836.
The victims ended up at Aventura Hospital with injuries. But back to the scene for a moment. Police say the famous rapper was in that McLaren.
If I shoot my gun, 300 shots.
Police and prosecutors say Pooh Shiesty was part of the group that ended up in this parking lot that October afternoon where the shots flew, and it happened right across the street from the police department and town hall here in Bay Harbor Islands, and days before an arrest.
The town of Bay Harbor Islands says you're wanted for aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
He's also charged with armed robbery. Bay Harbor police names 1 other for aggravated battery in their affidavit, saying the 2 left the state in a private jet. Police also using these Instagram photos, showing Shiesty with an assault style rifle and cash as part of their case. They say the shooting came as one of the victims tried selling high-end sneakers and marijuana.
Who, they got the right guy?
Sheldon Fox, 7 News.
On Sunday, May 30th, 2021, Pooh Shiesty performed as a rap artist at the King of Diamond Strip Club, located at 7020 Northwest 72nd Avenue in Miami, Florida. After his performance, Pooh Shiesty was paid an outstanding balance for his performance in cash, and a person from the crowd slapped his hand, causing Pooh Shiesty to drop the cash on the ground. Pooh Shiesty then retrieved the black semi-automatic pistol from his waistband and began waving it to prevent club patrons from taking his money. Upon seeing Pooh Shiesty with the firearm, the club security sought to remove him from the venue. Video surveillance captured Williams walking with the firearm in his hands. Williams then fired 1 shot, striking this club security guard in the ankle. Williams fled in a dark-colored vehicle, and because of that, he accepted a plea for 5 years, in which some say was a hell of a deal based on all the information that we just talked about, including 2 that could have been 2 murders. And in April of 2022, he accepted a plea, sentenced to 5 years and 3 months in prison. A part of his plea, he agreed to the firearm and drug charges, and the 3 other charges were dropped. October of 2025, Pooh Shiesty will come home.
Memphis rapper Pooh Shiesty is no longer in federal custody, according to his attorney. Pooh Shiesty, whose real name is Lontrell Williams, was sentenced to 5 years and 3 months in prison in a Miami federal court back in April of 2022 after he pled guilty to gun and drug charges. His attorney, Bradford Cohen, says he was released yesterday after a combination of time served and good behavior. Cohen also says Pooh Shiesty is looking forward to getting back to the studio and making music again.
So fam, so we clear. Pooh Shiesty had to serve 6 months in a halfway house since his release in early October. He would have been out the halfway house on his first week of April of 2026. But as we all know now, that's up for debate. But when Pooh Shiesty first came home in October, everything seemed good. Gucci Mane walked him home with the post quoted, "Welcome home to the real one." My nigga Pooh Shiesty. The energy different now. Same hustle, new chapter. Shiesty back and free. The only way it's supposed to be. Real ones never fold. Time to shake the streets up. Walk proud of you. Hashtag 1017. Gucci Mane wife Keisha Kior had quoted, "Welcome home, Pooh. We missed you." He also had an Instagram post in which Pooh Shiesty had reposted, quoted, "Welcome home, Pooh Shiesty. The main slime is back." Not to mention, Pooh Shiesty liked the post that was on his Instagram page. Everything seemed normal as mentioned, but one thing was visibly clear. Gucci Mane was not seen with Pooh Shiesty, and some thought that was because he was on the halfway house, but that was his CEO. And then months later, Pooh Shiesty, at the top of 2026, had dropped FDO, first day out. A highly anticipated wait, and it was safe to say that he didn't let his fans down. The track was over 6 minutes long, straight bars with his mother giving a speech that, quite frankly, any kid would want to hear the encouragement give her son, coming from their mom.
There's too many people depending on his leadership skills out here for him to be gone. Come on, son, reclaim your...
But Gucci Mane never reposted the video.
That dirt verse go to your head, ain't nobody slime as me. I'm the one from around the corner where they snake Martin Luther King.
That song played in the clubs while Pooh Shiesty can't even perform it, with a little less than 50 million views on YouTube in just 2 months. But a month after that track was released, the rumors between Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty was amplified. Once a well-known blogger named Seti Nash would come out and say Pooh Shiesty had allegedly robbed Gucci Mane, and with such bold claims, people was confused. That was his artist. It showed under FDO that he was still signed to 1017. And it's 2026. When you make claims like that, people want to see evidence. Until a well-known blogger named King AK-47 had put his career on the line and gave his audience the details on allegedly what happened that day in Texas. Pooh Shiesty and his dad allegedly robbed Gucci Mane to get out of his contract to allegedly sign with Yo Gotti, the same man that allegedly made Pooh Shiesty dad pissed off when he was in Pampers for not playing his music, playing his, resulting in a local DJ being gunned down. Now, I don't know how King AK-47 got these details, but shout out to him, because they seem to be true. Not one lie was called or bluff was called yet. Check out what he had to say. Now,
I didn't think Pooh Shiesty was dumb enough. But y'all, Pooh Shiesty is dumb enough. A lot of people attack Seti, question his credibility about this video, about what he said, even me. I put this on all my children. If this video is not the truth, I will quit YouTube. I would never make another single video, ever. And that's on Jesus Christ. And you guys could cancel me. And I dare anybody in Atlanta to speak out on the behalf of Gucci and to speak out on the behalf of Pooh, because that's where Gucci from. I dare everybody that was in Texas when this situation happened to speak out on the behalf of Gucci and to speak out on the behalf of Pooh. And I dare anybody from Memphis to speak out on the behalf of Gucci and to speak out on the behalf of Pooh. They won't do it. I guarantee you, they won't say cap, and they won't say it happened. Gucci gets called for a meeting. Pooh Shiesty wants out of his contract. Pooh Shiesty is with his dad. They're at a studio. There's guns in here. There's Pooh with a few dudes. I say, 10. Gucci is with a white boy. He's a cameraman. He's with a dude. I won't disclose his name, but his name is 2 letters. And he's with a security guard. Not only is this a security guard, you guys, this is a police officer. Yes, the person that was with Gucci was an off-duty police officer. Gucci goes into the office, in the room. Pooh and the dad. There is Pooh, the dad, Gucci. It's commotion now. No fighting. The story I heard, BS. No fighting. Pooh wants out this contract. Gucci doesn't want out this contract. The dad wants his son out this contract. Big 30, bruh. People hear the commotion. Some dudes come in. Big 30 closes the door behind them. They rob Gucci for a wedding band, not the wedding ring. A wedding band. They robbed Gucci for a watch, not the wedding ring. A wedding band. They robbed Gucci for a watch, not the $1 million watch, but not a cheap watch. They did rob Gucci for a chain, not one of his heavy hitter chains, but a chain. They also took $10,000 out of Gucci's pocket, all their wallets, a bag from the cameraman. Took it. Did Pooh take it? No. The dudes that Pooh was with took it. About 6-7 dudes that walked in this room, y'all. Pooh put the gun up to Gucci. That rumor, true. Pooh put the gun up to Gucci. That rumor, true. So, Pooh Shiesty's freedom. Many people think it's over. Many people think he's going to jail because that white boy, he kept saying he wanted to tell. After the robbery happened, Gucci told everybody he was with, don't say nothing about this, don't say nothing that happened, I'm going to take care of it. Now there's a problem. That off-duty cop, when a cop is present during a crime, he has to present during on the crime, he has to basically report the crime. Is going around that Shiesty and them try to pay off the guy, and I heard he ain't take it. There ain't nobody got paid off. They also try to contact the other dude that was with Gucci. He has to basically report the crime. Is going around that Shiesty and them try to pay off the guy, and I heard he ain't take it. There ain't nobody got paid off. They also try to contact the other dude that was with Gucci. He said, my loyalty with Gucci, man. That white boy, he said he was going to the police. Even after Gucci said, don't, he still said he was going to the police. This is all on the camera. He said, my loyalty with Gucci, man. That white boy, he said he was going to the police. Even after Gucci said, don't, he still said he was going to the police. This This is all on the camera. There's a video of this. That rumor was absolutely true. And Pooh Shiesty's in a pickle. Gucci was forced to sign some type of paper. That was absolutely true. But he's still 1017. He's not with Yo Gotti. This move may have been Yo Gotti got into that father head. He was paying the father money. The father was then looking out for Pooh. On top of the scar situation, on top of all that, that father is a big player. He wanted his son out his contract too. Gucci has Pooh Shiesty's whole career and freedom in his hands. I'm hearing he might damn near just shelf Pooh. But guess what? There's some consequences and repercussions that's on the way of Pooh Shiesty. I'm not saying Gucci Mane dropped no bags. I'm not saying nothing. But what I am saying is, what happened in that room, it was vowed to not go without consequence. So not only is Pooh basically facing jail, damn near look like you going, your career, what you gonna do? Because you're not off that deal. The house arrest thing. Pooh not in. He's not. I mean, not the house arrest. The home. The halfway house. Y'all know why Pooh in the halfway house? Hey Pooh, I will quit my YouTube career if you come out and say I'm lying. Anybody close to Pooh. He got evicted. Many of his cars have been repossessed. He didn't buy none of those cars. I think this is why we're seeing that a robbery took place. I think this is why we're seeing Pooh magically out the blue just posting a lot of promo in a lot of people's pages.
But things has died down technically from that situation. People notice a couple of things that should be noted in this video. Gucci Mane took down his welcome home post from Pooh Shiesty, and on top of that, he hasn't been public on social media. Then on the first day, what some consider April's Fool, Pooh Shiesty was hoping the same. As he was gearing up to exit the halfway house, his home that was owned by him and his dad was raided by the feds. And some say that's never a good thing.
Federal live look at the scene in Cordova. Our crews have seen FBI and TBI agents going in and out of that house. The Shelby County Assessor's website lists this going over. Our crews have seen FBI and TBI agents going in and out of that house. The Shelby County Assessor's website lists this house as being owned by Lontrell Williams. That is the name of both Pooh Shiesty and his father. The rap star is in a halfway house right now after being released from federal. Live look at the scene in Cordova.
But there you have it, fam. I did all this morning to bring it to you guys' attention and hopes to give you guys a clear understanding of what's going on now. We can only assume why they was there. But based on the facts that's been presented, based on the timeline of events that's been presented to the public, 2 + 2 = 4. And it's not a good thing that not only the artist who, providing for his family, but also his dad is in the eyes of the law enforcement. The same week he was set to be released from the halfway house. As more developed, I'll keep you guys updated. Until then, let me know how you guys feel about this one in the comments. Don't forget to like